Hello everybody and welcome back to a new soft-spoken video and welcome back to my channel. It's 2025. So happy new year to everybody. I'm back. This is my first video after 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks off from YouTube. As I've mentioned before and as you saw from my last video, I was away in Italy. So I have been back in London for a week now, but I've got back to work straight away, and so life got busy really quickly. So I haven't got any time to film and really reorganize my life, my things, my schedule here in London. So yeah, here we are. I'm very excited for this new year. Without further ado, we are here to talk about the movies that I've watched in December 2024. So expect a lot of Christmas movies, and yeah, let's get started. Okay, so I kicked off the month with Point Break, movie that I had never seen before. This is a 3.5 for me. It's a movie. It's one of those movies that I don't know, that back in the day I would, what was the, channel hop. I would channel hop through channels, and I don't know, this is the type of movie that I would stop and think, okay, it looks good enough, let's watch it. So yeah, nothing crazy. I don't know if, I actually don't know what the general consensus is over Point Break. I watched it with my boyfriend because he owns a Blu-ray of it, so I was like, yeah, sure. Can you read Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze, so you know they're both hot surfers. No, but Keanu Reeves plays a undercover FBI agent in LA that is asked to investigate a series of robberies done by a group that calls themselves the ex-presidents, because they wear ex-US presidents masks. So you have Nixon and Carter. Was he a president? Oh, Reagan and Johnson. Are they just four? 1, 2, 3. Reagan, Carter, Nixon, Johnson. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, which in itself is quite an iconic thing. I think, like, I don't know, when it came up, I kind of thought, oh, I think this has been referenced before. Robbing banks with president masks, or robbing with president masks. I don't know. I feel like it has been referenced before. This is a 1991 film. But yeah, so Keanu Reeves is asked to investigate on these robberies, and yeah, he becomes involved with a surfers clan group. Yeah, these surfers in LA, and yeah, there's a small plot twist, but the movie is very predictable. So yeah, very predictable, very just like, I don't know, things happen, and even I don't know, there's a very not earned, I think it's a bit of a thing that I have, is like, I always feel very strongly about relationships and loves or infatuations that happen that don't feel earned at all. Like, if the movie has now shown me, or at least implied, that these two people have spent time together, like, where is the connection coming from? I feel very, I don't know, it's a pet peeve, I suppose, of mine, where in movies two characters fall in love. And it's usually heterosexual couples as well, so it's like, what is she seeing in him, or what is he seeing in her, and whatever. Anyway, yeah, so it was a fun viewing experience, but nothing too crazy. So yeah, 3.5. Next, I watched the Holdovers, which is a 2023 Christmas movie, and it's probably one of my new favorite Christmas movies, like newer Christmas movies. I feel like this movie was so don't know, it had so much heart, and it was so simple in its execution. Like, I love that. I don't know, the who directed this, Alexander Payne. What else has he directed? Election, oh, Downsizing, Nebraska, oh, The Descendants. I've seen The Descendants. But yeah, so I like that he didn't try to do anything crazy. There's no crazy plot twist, there's no crazy plot line, there's no, I don't know, there's nothing too crazy about it. It's just like very straightforward, but it's also very funny. I feel like the main thing about this movie is character investigation and character study, I suppose, and just like investigation into very basic human nature things like solitude, loneliness, human relationships, you know, love and friendship, and you know, the concepts that are explored are very basic, but I really like the lens through which, or like the circumstances through which these things are explored. Yes, so the movie is set in 1970s in New England, at a prep school for boys. And so one of our main characters is this very stern, old school, lonely teacher, male teacher. And he's, because of reasons, he's forced to spend the Christmas break over at the school with the holdovers, so with the kids that for different reasons do not go home for Christmas. And so he very begrudgingly accept this role, even though it's not like he would have had any plans because he's very lonely, but still he's very resentful because he would have rather spend his holiday reading or writing or whatever else he does than spending time with these kids that are so like unruly and boisterous and you know, all these things. And so then what happens is that they start off, the kids start off in a small group, but then one by one they get, in the end they get oh no, not one by one, but yeah, something happens, so most of them get actually picked up during the holidays, so they don't end up spending the whole time of the holiday period with the teacher at school. And so the teacher ends up being with just one kid, and so yeah, the movie just follows their, I guess, friendship bond happening, but also just like them understanding each other on a more human level, more than on a teacher student level. And then of course you have the wonderful character of the cook, so the what would you call her, dinner lady, I suppose, the wonderful lady that cooks at school. And so she's also spending time during the holiday, and she has a very tragic backstory because her son died in Vietnam. So yeah, there's also that element to it, and she's wonderful. I think she won an Oscar for her role, or if not an Oscar and a Golden Globe, but she definitely won something. So yeah, lots of heart, lots of just things happening, people talking, and yeah, I don't know, it was really wonderful. It was shot on film, and I think that adds so much to it. Sorry, this is my computer. But yeah, so 4 stars. Looking back, probably 5. I always do this, don't I? I always say, oh, it's a 4 stars, but it could have been a 5. Maybe I'll give it 5 now. There you go, 5 stars. Next, I watched one of my absolute favorite animation movies, which is The Prince of Egypt. I absolutely adore this movie. It's just so epic and so stunning, and the pacing is so perfect. It's really like it. I don't know if it's because I have an emotional connection to it, but every time I watch it, it's so powerful that it really moves me, and it just really affects me. I remember being obsessed with it as a child. It follows the story of Moses, So the story of Moses from the book of Exodus, from the Old Testament. And so Moses grows up. I'm pretty positive they took some liberties from the Bible story, but so Moses grows up as a prince of Egypt, as the title would suggest, and then he discovers his Hebrew origins, and of course he's horrified by his father, the Pharaoh, decision to kill so many Hebrews, but also enslave the Hebrew population, the Hebrew people. It's just an epic biblical story, which might put some people off, but honestly, just go with an open heart. It's just a fantastic movie. And yeah, the songs are incredible. The songs feel very Disney. I'm pretty positive that at this point in time, in 1998, a lot of people that had worked at Disney went on to work at DreamWorks, and so you can see a bit of Disney. It's like, so I showed this to my boyfriend, which he had watched it, but he didn't remember it as well as I do, because I've rewatched it multiple times in my life. And he was saying how we were discussing how you can see that Disney sprinkle, but Disney would have never put out a movie like this, because in a way it pushes boundaries. It's a kids movie, but the violence and the imageries that this movie shows, Disney could never push the boundaries of animation or on what to show children. It's never inappropriate, don't get me wrong, but it's like Disney's very like squeaky clean, whereas DreamWorks at times pushes certain boundaries. Just 10 out of 10, 5 stars out of 5, a million out of a million. Go watch The Prince of Egypt. Moving on to another film that I've rewatched so many times. At this point, I don't even know. It's a very rewatchable movie. Inception by Christopher Nolan. Don't know what to say about it really, because I feel like everybody and their mother have watched Inception. But yeah, I guess I wanted to watch it off the back of watching Paprika in November. And so yeah, we're back into dreams, stepping into other people's dreams, instilling ideas through dreams, dreams merging with reality, not remembering or not being sure where you are, in what reality you're living and experiencing things. Rewatching it this time, I realized how much expository dialogue there is in this film. At times it's a bit tiring, but I don't know. Maybe at this point I know this movie so well that it's like, I don't know. It's just like an easy watch. I think it's up there with The Social Network for me. It's like I've rewatched them so many times that it's like, I don't know. It's like a comfort blanket. I don't even, think about too much about how they're executed or certain dialogue beats, or it's just Inception. I've seen it so many times. So 4 stars. I don't know what I would consider my favorite Nolan's movie. Maybe Tenet. Controversial? I think Tenet is a lot of fun. I know it's really criticized, but it's just like fun. Like, it's probably the most fun. I'm really trying to think. Yeah, I said what I said. I think Tenet is the most fun. Probably not the best, but it's the most fun. So yeah, Inception is like second most entertaining probably to me. Next, I don't know what to say. Queer left me speechless. It left me with a lot of questions. Um, I just I just don't know how to feel. I didn't give it any stars. So Queer is a 2024 Luca Guadagnino movie, but it's based off of a novel. I can't remember it right now, but it's the same author as Naked Lunch. So very prolific author, but also famously a heroin addict. And so this film, I think I went into this film imagining or expecting a linear story. You don't get a linear story. You don't get a linear anything. You can just see how probably even the original text is informed by addiction, and which is also portrayed in the movie. You have alcoholism and you have heroin abuse, and I don't know, they're just like nothing is linear. Everything is just weird and odd and what's the word? Like, I'm trying to think of an adjective that I would also use for Lynch is very like surreal. Yeah, everything is very surreal. So I don't really know how to feel because it left me, I'm not gonna lie, the watching experience left me frustrated because I felt frustrated about not understanding it. Let me explain. Sometimes when I watch really like artsy movie, and this is probably the most artsy film I've ever seen from Guadagnino. I think, yeah, because Challengers was linear, Call Me by Your Name was linear, and even Bones and all that I didn't really like, but it was easy to follow. This is like something else. Yeah, so sometimes when I watch such artsy, surreal, odd films, I find myself feeling frustrated because I don't get it, but it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's not that there's no right way to get it, but because I can't even find one thing to connect with this movie, I'm just left like, what am I supposed to feel? Am I supposed to feel sad, depressed, angry? Like, what is this movie challenging in me? Because I don't feel anything. I just feel like I have a big question mark over my head. And maybe that's what the film is supposed to give you, but I don't know. So I simply didn't get this movie at all. But it doesn't mean, I don't mean it in a negative way. I just mean it in a, maybe I need to rewatch it because I just don't know how to feel. So yeah, 0 stars. I don't know. What did you feel? Did you watch Queer? What did you feel about it? Because I don't know what to feel. And we are starting our Christmas movie streak. So at this point, some people will probably click off this video. That's fine. But it was December. I love Christmas movies. It's something that I do mainly with my sister when I visit home, because she really loves Christmas movies. Well, we both do, but it's kind of like, I think she enables me to just like watch a lot of Christmas movies. So yeah, the first one, which was my suggestion, was Die Hard. I love Die Hard. It's definitely the most different Christmas movie in this list. If you don't know, Die Hard is set at Christmas and it has Christmas, like, nods and winks, I guess. But it's an action movie about a guy that finds himself at what's the word? A Christmas party, but I want to say a corporate Christmas party at a big corporation. And yeah, they get attacked by, at first, what seems a group of terrorists. And yeah, so they hold all the participants to the party captive. They kidnap them. But our main guy, Bruce Willis, he somehow manages to get away from the terrorists, and so he ends up saving the day. But it's in a very wacky and like over the top way because he's one guy against all these other big guys with big guns, and I don't know, it's just a lot of fun, and it's just not to be taken too seriously, and I find it very entertaining. So yeah, and I count it as a Christmas movie because it happens at Christmas, and yeah, it's if you watch it, you would know why I say that it's very Christmassy. So yeah, Die Hard, 4 stars. I think 4 stars just because I have other Christmas movies that to me are like 5 out of 5. Okay, then we got Elf. It's Elf. It's a 3.5. It's fun. It's lighthearted. It's silly. It's nothing too special. I mean, every year that I rewatch it, I think, yeah, this is fine. But my sister really likes what's his face? Why can I never remember any names? Will Ferrell. So yeah, it's funny. It's silly. If you never watched Elf, it's about real, a human that for reasons grows up with elves, and he thinks he's an elf, but then at 30 years old embarks on a journey to reconnect with his real father and reconnect with his human roots, I suppose. So yeah, it's just silly, and yeah, that's it. Next, I'm gonna be very brief about this one. Mickey's Christmas Carol. I think it's a 20 minutes little movie. It's just Christmas Carol, but with Scrooge is Scrooge. Oh, I just realized that I don't know all the Disney characters, as in Mickey and everybody else. I don't know all of their names in English. I know them in Italian. But I think Scrooge is Scrooge, like duck something Scrooge. Anyway, you can imagine who's Scrooge. And then Donald Duck is the nephew. And then you have Mickey playing the employee of Scrooge. And then the three Christmas ghosts are played by, one is the little, oh my gosh. See, because I grew up watching Disney movies in Italian, so I don't know the names, but yeah, the little cricket from Pinocchio, he's the first ghost. Then you've got I think he's the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. I think he's the giant, yeah. And then the third is the see, how do I call him? Gamba di Legno? Ha, Pete. Oh, Pete is not Gamba di Legno. Oh, no, it is Pete. So why is it called Gamba di Legno? Maybe because in some older drawings he has a peg leg. So yeah, maybe in some older illustrations Pete has a peg leg. But now that I think about it, even in what's that movie called? Goofy's Journey, Goofy's Trip. The one where Goofy has a kid named Max and he wants to go to the concert, and yeah, so in that movie he's called Pietro, so Pete, and he doesn't have a peg leg. Anyway, yeah, so that's cute. Christmas Carol with Mickey Mouse adjacent characters. Then we have one of my 5-star Christmas movies. In my opinion, one of the best Christmas movies is Jingle All the Way. Arnold Schwarzenegger is so fun, just like so entertaining in this movie. Everybody's perfect in this movie. Everything is perfect about this movie. And yeah, so have you ever seen Jingle All the Way? I feel like it's a very popular movie. But yeah, the premise is that a father needs to try to get a Christmas present for his son on Christmas Eve because he forgot about purchasing said toy. And it's a Turbo Man, so it's a little like action man type little doll. And yeah, so it's just like his ups and downs and his adventures through the city to try and get this damn toy for his kid, to make his Christmas special. So yeah, very entertaining. I'm gonna blast through these last ones because they're so popular. I watched The Grinch, amazing, just amazing. The Grinch, the 2000, the Jim Carrey one. Yeah, not much to say about it, just crazy, crazy good in my opinion. And then the Holy Trinity, I guess it's, so third place is Jingle All the Way for me. Then you have Home Alone, the first one is in second place. Home Alone is amazing, is great, it's funny, I know it's silly funny because there's a lot of physical comedy, a lot of just people getting hurt, and that's funny, but I don't know, it's what I grew up with, and it's one of the most iconic Christmas movies in my opinion. So that's number 2. And then number 1, I don't know if this is controversial, but the second Home Alone to me is far superior. It's set in New York, what's not to love? You have the Plaza Hotel, what's not to love? The stakes feel higher because Kevin is not in his home. He's in New York, and the traps are set in his uncle and auntie's house, which is under construction. And, well, they say renovation, but it's fully under construction, it seems. So I don't know, the stakes feel higher and everything feels, I don't know, to say the stakes are higher in a children's, silly movie, it's silly, but I don't know, to me it's superior and more entertaining and just more fun to watch. What can I say? So yeah, Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, they're both 5 stars. And then, gosh, I watched Trading Places. Okay, so the backstory for Trading Places is that for some reason, it's a joke. It's a bit of a meme in Italy because every single year on Christmas Day, they show, like, on the telly, as in, like, they broadcast, gosh, I haven't watched traditional television in a long time, but anyway, every day on Christmas Day, they show Trading Places on the telly. And so I don't know how I've gone this long not having watching it. Somehow this year was the first year that I've watched this movie, and I don't know, it's racist, but you could say that it's racist for a reason. And yes, the 2 main characters that are racists, they are, let me explain the plot so you can understand a bit of it. So you have these 2 old bankers, and they essentially, because they're old and rich and wealthy, and they don't care about anybody else by themselves, they do a oh my gosh, what is it called when you do a challenge with somebody else? They do a bet. And the bet is essentially they're arguing nature versus nurture. They have an employee that he's quite far up, and he's really good at his job, and he's also wealthy because he's working for this bank. And they're arguing that if he was put in the conditions of a rough sleeper or homeless man, one is arguing that he wouldn't be able to figure it out, and then the other person is arguing that they would figure it out. And then they have different points of view when it comes to nature versus nurture, when it comes to making it in life. And so then they want him to trade places. Well, it's not like they want him, it's not like they ask him, they actually frame him for stealing money from the bank, which is so traumatic. In that moment I thought, oh my gosh, like, anyway, so they frame this guy, and so this guy becomes homeless, and they trade his position for a homeless guy, which is Eddie Murphy. And so yeah, one of the 2 rich guys argue that Eddie Murphy will be fine and they figure it out. The other guy is like, no, it's in his nature to be, I don't know, to steal, or he doesn't have it in him. So there is, I guess they're trying to make a class comment, but mixed with race, because of course Eddie Murphy's black, and the main guy, which is played by he's played by Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd. I've never said Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd. So he's white. So I guess the movie was kind of trying to make a comment, especially because the two old white guys, the bankers, are, they're not good guys. You're never rooting for them. They're clearly bad guys. So there's that. But then the whole movie has racism sprinkled in times, at timings where it doesn't work. I don't know if I'm making myself understood, but like, if the old guys are racists, it makes sense for their characters, and because you're not supposed to like them. But then there are other things sprinkled in that is just like, why was it necessary? It wasn't. At one point, then Aykroyd does blackface, pretending to be a Jamaican guy, and it's like, there's no need for that to happen in the movie. He could have dressed up as somebody else. It's just, I don't know. It's just something weird. It's a weird movie. I don't know. While I was watching it, I watched it with my family, and my mom was like, "Oh, but it was the 80s. It was a different time. It was this, it was that." And it's like, yeah, but for a movie that is trying to make a point about these problems. Also, this is a comedy. I forgot to say, this is a comedy. This is a funny movie. So it's like, I don't know, was this the time to touch on these issues? I'm not too sure. Basically, I'm not too sure what to do with this movie. It's a 3.6 on Letterboxd, so people like it mostly. I, I don't know. I can see this review says, I can see why this is considered a classic. I don't know. There's even I don't even want to say the word, but there's even a bit where it's not even that softly implied that a gorilla has a relationship with a guy, because the guy is pushed into the gorilla's cage, and that's played for laughs. And I don't know, maybe I'm just sensitive, I don't know, maybe that's what it boils down to. Maybe I'm just too sensitive and too whatever. But even that, I was like, really, is that funny? If anything, it's just gross and traumatic, and I don't know. So yeah, this was a 1 star for me. And the very last film I watched last month was one of my childhood favorites, The Mask. So again, Jim Carrey. Just a very fun, entertaining movie. It's not perfect, but yeah, it's also a big cartoon, essentially. I think this time around I realized it more than ever in the portrayal of the city, how it's shot, and the smoke. I don't know, it feels like it could be Gotham City, or something like that. And of course, the mask turns you into this cartoonish character, but also everything else around it, it's very cartoonish. Even the portrayal of the bad guys, and yeah. So The Mask is a lighthearted, fun movie about a guy that figures out that the real strength comes within you, and you can't get it from outside. Or like confidence, and yeah, strength as in like strength in your character, and confidence doesn't, you cannot buy that, or get it from outside of you. It comes from within you, and it's always been there inside of you. You just have to challenge yourself enough to get it out. So yeah, just fun. And yeah, this were all the movies I watched in December. I'm so excited for all the movies I'm going to watch in January, and all the movies that I've already seen in January. Not that many actually, but yeah, let me know if you have any Christmas movie favorites, if you feel like still talking about Christmas. I know that some people are like so over it, which is fair enough. Also, a lot of people don't celebrate Christmas, which also fair enough. But yeah, so here's to 2025. Can't wait for more videos. Yeah, expect lots more from me. I'm gonna be trying my best to upload every Tuesday and Friday. And yeah, I'll see you very soon.